Good evening. It's Tuesday, March 8th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. A warning from President Biden gets set to feel more economic pain as the U.S. is now stopping oil imports from Russia. We'll lay out details in a moment, but first, here at home, we've been showing you examples of how painful gas prices are. KPBS reporter John Carroll now on concerns involving San Diego's economic lifeblood, tourism, and what that means to all of us.
Tourism is big business in San Diego. Figures from the Tourism Authority show that before the pandemic in 2019, more than 35 million people were visiting this region every year, generating nearly $18 billion, supporting more than 190,000 jobs. In 2020, those numbers fell by more than half. So, record-breaking gas prices are the last thing businesses that rely on tourism in San Diego County need, especially now that we're finally bouncing back from the pandemic. But thanks to events unfolding a world away, the cost of getting here is getting higher and higher. It wasn't all that long ago that when we shot footage of gas price signs, it would hold for at least a few days. Not anymore. This is a daily routine now. The average on Monday, yesterday, was $5.38 a gallon. Today, $5.48. And at some stations, it's a lot higher than that. Aviation fuel prices have also risen sharply. So a big, worrisome question. At what point do people start cutting back on travel? The Auto Club's and Jane Venegas says experience from past price spikes show we're not there yet.
Right now, it's just too soon to tell if the rising gas prices are going to have an impact on people's driving habits or travel plans.
But Venegas says if past is prologue, we might not see much, if any, impact.
Historically, high gas prices have not stopped people from traveling, but they could modify their plans, maybe go somewhere closer to home.
Fortunately, there are a lot of things to do in the greater Southern California area, so even if some people decide against a trip here, there are lots of Southern Californians who could make up for that by taking a staycation.
When it comes to traveling, they might just want to go somewhere closer to home.
So it's wait and see for now, as we all brace ourselves for how much higher these prices will go. John Carroll, KPBS News.
The bipartisan support to ban Russian oil, natural gas, and coal imports expected to have an impact on consumers, despite the fact it's a relatively small amount. Isabel Rosales with more on the crackdown and economic fallout.
The U.S. is stepping up sanctions against Russia. This time, an all-out full ban on Russian oil, natural gas, and coal imports.
This is a step that we're taking to inflict further pain on Putin. But there will be cost as well here in the United States.
On Tuesday, President Biden announcing the latest crackdown on Moscow, hoping to force President Putin to pull back its escalating attack on Ukraine.
I'm going to do everything I can to minimize Putin's price hike here at home.
The announcement comes after growing calls from Ukraine for allies to ban Russian energy imports. The U.S. ban does not include European allies. Experts say the move could be more effective if EU allies took part. But unlike the U.S., Europe relies heavily on energy imported from Russia.
Compared to the EU, which imports about 4.5 million barrels of Russian crude oil, the U.S. is relatively safe without Russian imports.
The U.S. could replace the relatively small amount of fuel it gets from Russia with other imports, including from the Middle East, but there could be consequences. The ban could send already skyrocketing oil and gas prices even higher, impacting consumers at the pump.
That will have a short-term effect, and gas prices are going to continue going up as a result of that. We are now looking at $4.19 a gallon.
The Biden administration was facing growing pressure from both Republicans and Democrats to impose further sanctions on Russia.
Anything we can do right now to limit Russia's ability to raise funds, we need to be doing.
In Washington, I'm Isabel Rosales.
And as each hour passes, Ukrainian civilians are fleeing for their lives as their communities come under siege. The UN estimates 2 million have left. We have both a local and worldwide look at the stepped-up humanitarian efforts. And we begin with reporter Chris Nguyen.
As Russian attacks intensify in Ukraine, the humanitarian crisis deepening by the minute.
This horror cannot be endured. I cannot express it. The fear, the crying children.
Ukrainian authorities say at least 21 civilians were killed in a Russian airstrike overnight in the city of Sumy. Several attempts to evacuate civilians failed earlier this week. Western leaders accusing Russian forces of targeting pre-approved safe routes.
Targeting civilians is a war crime, and it's totally unacceptable.
According to the United Nations, nearly 500 civilians have been killed since the war began, but officials believe the number is even higher. More than 2 million refugees have already fled the country.
We have not seen in Europe a crisis escalating so fast since the Second World War.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky attempting to shame the West to save his people.
The fault is with the occupants, but the responsibility is with those who still haven't secured Ukrainian skies from the Russian killers.
But the U.S. and Europe must walk a fine line, facing a nuclear-armed Russia. Tuesday, President Biden amped up economic pressure by banning Russian energy imports, while NATO is still ruling out a no-fly zone.
We have a responsibility to ensure the conflict does not escalate and spread beyond Ukraine.
Chris Wynn, KPBS News.
We have seen people bringing donations to the House of Ukraine to help the people of that nation, but it's not the only location where donations are being collected. KPBS reporter Jacob Ayer shows us another collection center in City Heights.
Yeah, I'm here to volunteer.
San Diego's House of Ukraine is working with other local organizations like Help Ukraine Now to try and help those caught in the ongoing chaos with the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Victoria Ivanova is a Ukrainian immigrant who's an active member with the House of Ukraine in Balboa Park. She says she's worried for her family, who lives in the Ukrainian capital city of Kiev.
And I have faith that God is on our side, that the whole world is on our side. So I cannot just sit and cry. I'm trying to do everything possible to support my country from this side. Even if I'm not there, I'm still fighting.
Ivanova, who is also the coordinator at Ukrainian School of San Diego, says there are multiple ways to help, including financial donations. Ivanova says the biggest need right now is for medical and military supplies, which can be dropped off at their El Cajon Boulevard unit, which operates from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily.
We're asking for things like thermal blankets, thermal undergarments, socks, so it is kind of cold at this time. I talked to my parents today, it's snowing, and so we need some things to keep people warm.
Ivanova says they are also preparing for an influx of Ukrainian asylum seekers that could be coming to the region.
At this time we don't have many refugees. I don't have anybody yet here in San Diego, but we will be expecting them. People are reaching, they're coming this way, but at this time we do not want, we ask you not to bring the food items.
Ivanova says the supplies are sent out every few days, with the goods eventually arriving by plane into some of the surrounding European countries. For more information and ways to help, go to houseofukraine.org. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
Some promising signs that the pandemic is moving toward an endemic in San Diego County. New COVID-19 cases are trending lower, with 357 new cases reported today. In the past few days, reporting numbers under 500 and 400. Also, nearly 82% of county residents aged 5 and older are fully vaccinated, and 93% have received at least one dose. Just over half have gotten their booster shot. Getting treated for COVID-19 is going to get even easier thanks to the nationwide Test to Treat initiative that kicks off today. There will be hundreds of pharmacies and health centers where people can go get checked out for COVID and get antiviral pills on the spot if they need them. The initiative will also include efforts to make sure people know new treatments are available and how important it is to get treated after symptoms start. An iconic part of the downtown waterfront surrounding Seaport Village could drastically change under a development proposal presented to the port today. KPBS reporter Alexander Nguyen shows us what developers have in mind.
On a perfect San Diego day, tourists can be seen milling around catching some sun. But something new over the horizon could drastically change this part of San Diego waterfront. The port is reviewing a $3 billion plan to redevelop the downtown waterfront, which includes Seaport Village and 2 nearby parks.
Look how big this flag is. Y'all gonna hang it up with...
And that's not sitting well with Mike Ishmael. He's the owner of Alamo Flags, which has been in business at Seaport Village since 1990.
It's the wrong move because this is like Seaport Village is like a landmark. It's a beautiful area for families, and they see the bay and they walk around and they enjoy themselves, and it's a relaxed atmosphere. Changing it, I don't really agree upon that.
Ishmael says redevelopment would change the atmosphere of the Seaside Shopping Center. But others, like Shabi Tavakoli, who owns a Seaport Fudge factory, thinks it's about time Seaport Village gets an upgrade.
I think it's a great idea. It's time. The ground needs a little bit of work. That all these tree roots is, ruining the ground structure.
Under the proposed plan, all of this would be gone except for the carousel and replaced with hotels, restaurants, an art exhibition space, and a yacht club. There are also plans for a 500-foot tower with observation decks, an aquarium, and public space. Yehudi Gaffin is the CEO of Portillo Waterfront Development. He says the project will be transformational. Gaffin says it's a priority that small businesses that make up the character of Seaport Village be able to stay and be a part of the new waterfront.
We have made the commitment to them that anyone who wants to stay will be able to stay. We will phase our project to be able to give them continuity of business. We realize a small business can't shut down and then open up a few years later.
The plan has the support of the San Diego City Council, Mayor, and the Chamber of Commerce. It would be some time before the port makes a final decision. Alexander Nguyen, KPBS News.
The City Council today is hearing a report that found the city's infrastructure is more underfunded than ever. San Diego would need an extra $4.3 billion over the next 5 years to fully fund its infrastructure. Mayor Todd Gloria spoke about the issue on KPBS Midday Edition. He said some of the costs are driven by inflation and the Great Resignation, making workers harder to find. There are also long-term challenges.
A lot of our city's infrastructure was built in the middle of the last century, and a lot of it is coming to the end of its useful life. So it's not a matter of a pothole here or a street resurfacing there, but it's a pump station that was built decades and decades ago that really can't continue to function. We need to replace it. It's those big ticket costs that are basically coming due now that we have to find a way to fund.
Mayor Gloria says the city is making internal changes to use existing money more efficiently while also competing for funds from President Biden's infrastructure bill. Right now, Dr. Lamont Jackson is joining a San Diego Unified Board meeting for the first time as permanent superintendent. His appointment to the job comes after a year-long search and significant community input. Here's KPBS education reporter MG Perez.
Dr. Lamont Jackson was all smiles as the San Diego Unified Board of Education announced his appointment. He is the new permanent superintendent and model for students everywhere.
It does not matter what your background is, what kind of life you've come from. You can rise to the top because he is a living example of that.
We do need to increase the wages, and I'm saying across the board.
Dr. Jackson earned the position over Dr. Susan Enfield, the only other finalist for the job. He grew up in the district as a student and has worked as a teacher, principal, administrator, and area superintendent.
I look forward to working with our entire community to lead the San Diego Unified out of this pandemic with a focus on learning and teaching. That is our foundation.
The district's foundation needs some reinforcement as the number of registered students has dipped under 100,000 for the first time in many years. There is also the COVID vaccination mandate for all eligible students 16 and up, which the district will begin enforcing during summer school in June, despite pending legal complications. Jackson says the vaccination requirement will extend to younger students once there is full FDA approval. The San Diego Education Association represents more than 7,000 teachers in the district. In a statement to KPBS News, Union President Keisha Borden said, now that he is permanent superintendent, we hope he will make changes in his leadership team that align with the approach and philosophy that we've come to know from him during his time as interim superintendent and in his previous district positions. Ricardo Soto was on the Community Advisory Committee that helped in the superintendent selection process. He also represents the district's charter schools that educate 20,000 students on 40 different campuses. He supports Dr. Jackson lining up a diverse leadership team.
So that they understand that our charter schools are trying to ensure that students
are learning and are being served at a very high level, just like the traditional schools are.
Ultimately, it's the students' reactions that matter most. There were many of them standing with the new superintendent as he accepted the job.
He's the guy that goes up to a student and asks, "Are you okay?" And if they say no, well, you betcha he's going to follow that student and make sure they're doing okay. Lamont's the friend.
Dr. Jackson has his assignments, along with the congratulations. MG Perez, KPBS News.
I'm Judy Woodruff. Tonight on the NewsHour, how President Biden's ban on Russian oil could affect gas prices in the U.S. and the war in Ukraine. Coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
Amid rising food and gas prices, a little relief for some people in the North County today in the form of a mobile laundry trailer. KPBS North County reporter Tanya Thorne takes us there.
Excuse us, Randy. We have 4 washers here, and then we have 3 dryers and 1 dryer there.
The Lived Experiences mobile laundry trailer rolled into Maricosta Community College Tuesday. It's the first time the trailer's been to the Oceanside Community Learning Center campus. Lived Experiences founder Oscarin Ortega says laundry is a basic need that many students and community members can't afford right now due to the rise in gas and food prices.
Having a free load of laundry saves them up $20, $40, and it just takes the burden off them. So just having the save space, saving that extra bucks in their life, it's helping them out big time.
This family didn't want to share their identity, but they said this event brought much needed savings to their household.
Sí es bastante ayuda para nosotros y pues sí nos gustaría que siguen dando más ayuda como es.
Yadira Crespo is studying English at the Learning Center and heard about the mobile laundry event through an email. She says the event came at the perfect time for her. She was living at a women's domestic violence shelter and got an apartment 2 weeks ago.
A veces no tenemos los recursos para poder estar yendo seguido a una lavandería y esto la verdad pues a nosotros nos ayudó bastante ahora sí y pues más pues con todo lo que nosotros no pensábamos tener, o sea que pues comida, despensa, otras ayudas.
She said the free laundry helped her out tremendously and she wasn't expecting all of the additional resources offered at the event. Free clothes, showers, groceries, and resources were available for anyone attending the event. But Ortega says the event was no easy feat to organize and fund.
It's a big job. Just taking this trailer to one site to another, 5 miles, it's about $20, $30. Not only is a lot of maintenance on the vehicle itself that's hauling the trailer, but the trailer itself, there's a lot of complications that the washers inside might break or the pipelines might break. So just the overhead cost on this, it's pretty pricey just to take it anywhere.
To help with those costs, Dr. Bronner's Soap Company has a team helping local organizations with transportation, generators, and soap. Kai Light is with the company.
One of the coolest things I do is show up, help bring showers to people, help bring food, help step into these community growing spaces and show up and be a part of it.
Light says while gas is more expensive, Dr. Bronner's is dedicated to helping the community and giving back. The free laundry and resource event will continue on the last Tuesday of every month and is open to all. Tanya Thorne, KPBS News.
The cancellation of spring training games is having a financial impact on ballpark employees. Today, Major League Baseball announced it will help ballpark workers by creating a fund starting with $1 million. Employees who work for the Grapefruit and Cactus Leagues in Florida and Arizona will benefit from the money, including concession stand workers, janitors, and electricians. The money will be administered by AFL-CIO, Federation of Unions, and the Players Association, and will focus on the hardest hit communities.
Well, we're going to be watching as a big trough begins to dig on in, and that brings an onshore flow yet again here in Southern California. Slight drop in temperatures, a little bit more significant further inland into the mountains and the deserts, but we also bring the chance for some showers. Small chance, but it is on the table here moving forward. Temperatures tonight getting back down into the 30s in Oceanside and Escondido, 32 in Ramona. Around 50 for you in San Diego. And Wednesday, you'll notice that the beginning of that storm is already here across the Four Corners region into Utah and the Colorado Rockies. Winds picking up here in Nevada and Arizona, but it's still a pleasant day here across much of California. Temperatures in the mid to upper 60s for you in San Diego and Chula Vista. right around 70 in El Cajon. Borrego Springs is closer to 80 degrees. And then Thursday, we really begin to feel that drop off. Temperatures are going to be well below normal here across the interior Southwest, and in some spots dropping from 20 to 30 degrees in just 24 hours. So again, big change here is on the way, but near the coast, we're really not going to see a whole lot in the way of changes here. There's a small chance for a morning shower. Early on Thursday, temperatures looking to bottom out in the mid-60s between Wednesday and Thursday. And then after that, we look to climb back up into the upper 60s to low 70s. Further inland, temps go from closer to 70 degrees down into the mid-60s on Thursday with a couple showers hanging around. And then we rebound nicely, getting back up to about 70 on Friday, upper 70s as we head into the weekend on Saturday. In the mountains, temperatures going from the upper 40s on Wednesday into the 30s on Thursday, rebounding into the 40s on Friday. Morning shower chance for you Thursday. Breezy winds picking up on Friday, but temperatures really recover nicely here through the weekend. And in the deserts, temperatures drop from the upper 70s into the upper 60s and then rebound as we head into the weekend. Upper 70s Saturday, mid 80s by the time we get into Sunday. For KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Jessica Pash.
It's a day that's been celebrated around the world for more than a century. Today is International Women's Day. It's considered a day to reflect upon how far women have come socially, economically, politically, and culturally. It's also a call to action to continue to work toward diversity, inclusion, and equality for women's rights. Over the past 2 years, conversations about race, gender, and equity have become more mainstream and in some cases more contentious. That's why KPBS race and equity reporter Christina Kim has been collecting your questions as a part of a series that we are calling Let's Talk About.
We're living in a time where we're more divided than ever, and we need a common vocabulary to talk about those differences. But that can be hard when we're not on the same page. It's why KPBS is launching a new series called Let's Talk About It, where we answer your questions. We start today with Mike Milton. He's a retired Navy man who identifies as white and a lefty.
Center left.
Politically speaking, that is. He says he pays attention to the news and current affairs. But lately, there's one word he's been hearing a lot of that's got him scratching his head. Woke.
I think it shows how wokeism destroys everything fun in our society.
It's a word he mostly hears used by conservative media, and he's not sure what it means.
One question I do have is, what is wokeness?
The truth is, the word woke has lived many lives and iterations.
Right around the early 1960s, 70s, when you had a lot of Black Power movements and kind of civil rights issues going on at that time. It wasn't called woke, it was called consciousness.
That's Dr. Demarie Smith. He's a professor of rhetoric and media studies at San Diego State University. He says the word stems from the civil rights era.
At that time, Black people particularly started thinking about what are the ways in which our government is not necessarily protecting us as citizens.
For him, the real meaning of being woke is about connecting the dots.
To me, means basically having a consciousness about some of the systemic issues that are taking place that have unintended consequences that kind of seem as though it may be a good thing. But again, there's things that we're not necessarily thinking about.
In other words, it really just means to think critically about issues that impact us all, like education, healthcare, and policing. The word woke, though, became more mainstream in 2015, with more and more people using it that didn't know the word's origin, says Smith.
The everyday white folks, as I would say, and they started kind of using that terminology about, oh, I'm woke, I'm white, but I'm woke, you know what I mean?
Which is when the word began to change and become less a way of thinking and more like a badge to signal to other people that you weren't racist.
Levi's heard that if you're not woke, it's bad.
Even Saturday Night Live got in on the joke with its parody on a Levi's ad for woke jeans. Fast forward to today, where woke is being used by conservative media outlets to describe just about everything.
The mission statement of wokeism, of Marxism, of the BLM movement is to destroy the nuclear family.
Smith says he's not surprised to see woke take on yet another meaning.
Like all words, they can be weaponized.
In this current context, woke has become a catch-all for anything deemed progressive or inclusive.
And the problem when you hear woke is I would say, at least for Fox News, they kind of see it as more like folks who have this like kind of socialist agenda where that, at least that's their perspective. And so anything that they don't deem as correct, it's considered woke.
And that's how Mike Milton first heard of the word woke, light years away from its original meaning. So I called him back up and shared this story with him.
Educated me that it goes back not just to the, whatever that was, 90s or early 2000s, but back to the 60s and early 70s, perhaps.
Dr. Demarie Smith anticipates we'll be hearing the word woke a lot this election season. It's why he wants us to question who's using the word woke and why, so we can push past buzzwords and have conversations about real issues. Cristina Kim, KPBS News.
And you can send us your questions about race, gender, and equity. Find out more at kpbs.org or call the number that you see on your screen, 619-630-8516. It's baby season over at the San Diego Humane Society, and it's going to be busier than ever this year. Thousands of kittens are going to need around-the-clock care in the coming months. So starting today, the shelter is hosting a virtual kitten shower. And they're looking for donated items, including kitten formula, bottles, heating pads, scales, and lots of blankets. To make it easier for those who want to give, they have set up an online registry at sdhumane.org/kitten shower. And the kitten nursery was started back in 2009 with the help of your donations and has successfully helped keep thousands of orphaned kittens safe from euthanasia. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.